Hi, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. We are Kaikou CBD. We're bringing the world's best CBD products to the Japanese market. I'm going to run you through our strategy for direct-to-consumer e-commerce in Japan. This is the evolution of the system that we built over the last 4 years in China to leverage local influencers and affiliates to grow brands in these markets. Japan is the main focus in Asia for now, but Hong Kong is still a solid market for brands to consider as well. Japan is the third largest economy in the world with a 126 million person population, a GDP of over $5 trillion, which is about $40,000 per capita. It's got a $114 billion e-commerce market as well. So why isn't every CBD brand charging into the Japanese market? Well, there are some challenges. Japan is quite a bit more conservative culture overall. The language is very different, and then you're having to operate in a market with a 14-hour time difference to East Coast in the US. And then there are the legal regulations around CBD, the difficulty of importing, storage, shipping, and payment processing. These are all challenges as well. So we've had to develop local partners and a system that helps brands develop in Japan and operate within these constraints, leveraging these local partners to help develop your brand in this massive, massive economy. So the goals here are to build a long-term brand presence with loyal, engaged, repeat customers. We can set specific sales target revenue amounts, or we can work within a budget depending on what we want to achieve in terms of scale. The sky's the limit in this market, but we're kind of at the ground floor here. It hasn't really grown as fast as CBD did in the US and the UK, which is to be expected with a more conservative market. But long term, we think that the penetration rate could be greater than the US and UK as natural plant-derived medicines are very popular across Asia. So this is the Crawl, Walk, Run program. This is the program we built to sell products in China over the last 4 years. The key here that we've learned is to leverage local cultural understanding of influencers and affiliates in the market to open the door to sell and also educate our specific target demographics. We're not trying to guess how to best deal with culture in Japan or how to describe these things. We're not trying to figure out how to present these product opportunities, CBD, to the market. We want to find people that to present to the market in a very specific way. Then we want to build out an automated messaging system to educate that traffic and build relationships with them over with your brand and product. And then finally, once we're dialed into a specific target demographic, have the automated safety net to max out the value of that traffic. Then we want to go and acquire traffic at scale through programmatic marketing. So crawl, walk, run strategy, again, starting with the influencers and affiliates, the demographics. They're going to help us get dialed in exactly who we're selling to, and then exactly what the product lines we want to chase are. We use software to help us find influencers and affiliates whose audience fit these very specific target demographics. Second stage is to build up that safety net, the automated email marketing system. Again, maybe not the sexiest marketing strategy, but this is standard, tried and true across all these markets. And it gives us the confidence to know that we're maximizing the value of that traffic once we acquire it. We develop these core flows and we set and monitor. The goal is to get to 20% of revenue by the end of the first year. And then finally, once we've leveraged affiliates and influencers to really understand who that target audience is, and we built the safety net of automated email marketing, which will work like compounding interest, just growing in the background, then we're ready to go out and acquire paid traffic, leveraging programmatic marketing. Because we're not able to use Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, Google AdWords. Basically, we want to figure out who our audience is, what websites they're spending time on, and then place ads on those websites to bring them into our marketing funnel. If we go directly, again, this is really important for finding distribution partners in these markets. If you go directly to distributors and wholesalers, if you don't have a presence in that market, you're really going to get beat up on the pricing. If nobody's looking for that product, that's what retailers and distributors want. They want a product that has reputation and demand, so we need to build that up. All right, logistics in Japan with a 3PL warehouse. Hold your inventory, does pick and pack services, order fulfillment, and tracking as well. Registration with our partner is $1,320. The customs clearance through the Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare, $270 per shipment plus the 10% tax. Courier fee is going to be about $220 per shipment. And then we get into the monthly costs. So the warehouse storage, This is for a small amount. We can discuss exactly how much space you need. $275 to start. The pick and pack order delivery fee is going to be $450. And then local delivery. Again, this is an annual average across Japan. It's going to be about $5 or so per order. We can restrict your delivery range depending on your present strategy. We can set a minimum order for free shipping, $20, $25, $30. And we can set these different regional shipments depending on what you want to charge. Again, this is always listed as the top reason why orders are not completed is that costs are not presented up front. So if we do want to charge for shipping, present that up front. If you want to eat that cost and just present a final pricing to the buyer, then we can do that as well. Final, next, payment processing. Finding a company that will process Japanese yen credit card payments for CBD was no easy task. But it's extremely important to make sure that purchasing CBD in Japan is very easy. We want to remove all of the friction. And this is going to lead to a higher conversion rate overall. So the credit card fees, processing fees are expensive, 7%. But again, being able to accept Japanese yen credit card payments for CBD products is an extremely difficult thing to do. Okay, so this is the core setup costs, right? Again, I know this looks a little intimidating, but let's just go through this. We wanted to have a simple, straightforward, repeatable process that we're using over and over and over again. Really want to walk you through what this looks like. So we have the core services for the crawl, walk, run program, and then recommended services. So a localized e-commerce site here can be very simple, a very basic Rakuten site, like an Amazon site, a very basic, or we can build one with all the bells and whistles. So we can put up a Rakuten site and start driving that right away to be purchasing that. Same thing, getting started with the payment processor is these registration costs. Total cost for us to do this is $1,500 plus the registration fee. Getting set up with the payment processor is pretty straightforward. 3PL setup, basic cost to get up and running there. And then affiliate database build, right? This depends on how deep we want to go before we launch. You can spend between 500 and 15. This is going to be the total number of influencers that we want to have built up before we pull the trigger and get rolling. Now, these are recommended services, right? So do we absolutely need these? No. Are they going to benefit you? Yes. So it depends on what the goals are revenue-wise and what the budget is. Are we just testing this market, or are you sure you want to be in Japan and we're building a foundation for success at scale? Do you absolutely need a localized website? No. Are you possibly going to lose sales when people go to look for a website and there is none? Probably. How much does a website cost? Well, again, how long is a piece of string? It really depends on what we want here. We can do something very, very simple, or you can do something with all the bells and whistles. Foundational SEO and backlinking packages. We work with a strong reputational partner. There's not really room for negotiating here with these guys. These programs do take a little bit of time. But the advantage in Japan is that you're in this wet cement market. There's not a ton of really developed competition. So it's something that you can see results in fairly quickly, as opposed to a year. In most developed markets, you're going to see results here in 4, 5, 6 months, and be able to hold on to those a little bit more than you would in any other market. But again, is it going to be driving the needle in month 2? No, it is going to take 4, 5, 6 months. So the same thing with backlinking, right? The social CRM system, is it absolutely necessary? No. It's going to be hugely advantageous when we're segmenting customers from affiliates and tracking customers, where they come from, who they are, what their interests are, which will feed into email marketing and then feed into programmatic marketing. Yes. Absolutely necessary? No. Same thing with those social media accounts, right? So we'll be leveraging affiliates and influencers on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Is it absolutely necessary to have a strong presence there? No. Is it going to be strange to have zero presence? Yes. And then finally, registering your intellectual property, trademarks. It'd be probably good to use your global trademarks in the Japanese market. Again, this comes from our experience in China, which is a little bit different. But if you have a lot of success and you don't have your IP registered, can you find yourself in a sticky situation? Yes. Again, it really depends on exactly what we want to do here. Then you can see all the deliverables, right? So the main core is the e-commerce site, payment processor, 3PL, an initial database, and then pricing and product line testing. So we're ready to really rock and scale up. All right, so stage 1, crawling. Here we're offering this repeatable process, how we do at the core, right? We crawl, we rock, we walk, and finally we run. This is a core process, and it's just determining about how fast we get through it, right? So ideally, we want to have about 50 affiliates, influencers when we're launching the brand. Um, but it's absolutely necessary? No, right? So this is just going to be about how much time we have, how much time a person is spending on this. Basic is going to be part-time. Advanced, you got a full-time person, and a full team, you've got 2 full people. So really, it's again about how fast we want to go. Can we launch with just 10 affiliates and influencers? No problem. It's just about doing what's going to give us the best chance of success here. And the same thing, recommended SEO and backlinking, the cost for each, social CRM, advanced management. Again, this is going to help us segment, build this out for exactly what we're going to kind of try to do to build, to take advantage of all of this information, right? Leveraging the crawl to find more lookalike audiences and things like that, which you can also do with our affiliates and influencers. Is it absolutely necessary? No, but hugely beneficial in the long term? Yes. Um, so in the first stage, we're mostly focused exclusively on affiliate performance. This is going to be the main KPI for driving initial revenue. All right, and then the walking stage, same thing. Costs are the same. We work with an expert team for creating automated email messaging flows. So the decision, again, is how fast do you want to go? Do you want to write out different flows for different parts of our target demographics? Or are we going to put everybody through the same system and then segment that out later? So same basic thing, basic, advanced, and full team. I mean, these are going to be the KPIs that we're going to measure success with here. Affiliate performance is still the main KPI that we're measuring at this point. And then we want to set up these initial flows. These first flows, I'd say after the first 2 to 3 months, we want to be driving 10 to 15% of revenue, and then eventually setting it around 20, 25%. And here we want to start beginning this client segmentation, right? We want to know, do 30 to 38-year-old married female Japanese women in Tokyo prefer a spearmint tincture or a citrus tincture? Same thing here again with the basic recommended services as well. SEO and backlinking will have a cumulative effect over time, and it can be started and stopped at any point. So if you're willing to, and again, sorry, our management fee and profit share are going to be depending on what your overall strategy is with the market, right? We want to see basically a seesaw balance, right? If you're willing to invest in the full team, we're willing to drop that management fee and go for a smaller profit share because we're going to get to profitability faster. If you want to do the basic core minimum, no add-ons, we're going to require more of a management fee. And our profit share is going to be higher as well because we need to share in that success. Finally, running. This is a bit more expensive in the basic projects because we have to acquire this data. There's going to be a minimum 3 months to make sure that we're going to get strong returns. Again, we're going out and acquiring these data points. We get to that point where we can run ads profitably, track them through our system, and make sure everything is watertight before we move on here. So same thing with the KPIs. We're measuring, again, what the affiliates are, what they're doing to support the sales goals, getting that email marketing flow up to 15 to 20%. Starting to segment these customers as well. And then once that is tight, that's when we start putting gas on everything and get to that positive return on ad spend within these first 3 months. And once we know these demographics down and super tight, then we can scale up. So these are KPIs that we'll be managing over time, right? Again, this is going to be how fast we get to statistical significance here, going to be determined by what the investment level is, how quickly we can acquire influencers and affiliates and get that traffic in and really segmented and scaled up. So the goal here is to build this low-risk, repeatable, scalable system for finding your perfect customer base in Japan. At the end of the day, e-commerce needs data. We need to acquire that data. We gain traction with influencers, build some momentum with them and our affiliates. We then build out an automated messaging flows that sell to individuals over time in a way that they choose to be engaged with. And finally, once we have traction with these demographics, have an automated system in place to sell to those individuals over time via email. We look to acquire paid traffic sources and scale up the business. Again, happy to build out anything you're looking for. We do put this standard basic system in here to kind of give people a guidepost about what we can do specifically, but we can work within your budget or we can work with a target revenue goal. Happy to discuss anything further, and thanks again for your time. Appreciate it.